Thank you guys for joining us on the Lakewood Chamber podcast. This is the Lakewood Chamber Studios. I'm Elwis Johnson, your host, and we're here with longtime insurance agent Connie Duty with Connie Duty Insurance.
Good to meet you.
She's been serving our community for nearly 20 years and a longtime chamber member. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So, Connie Duty with Connie Duty Insurance, what types of insurances do you do? How do you help people?
Yeah. Mainly right now, my book of business is the Medicare insurance and the life insurances. Right now, the Medicare is my main gig right now.
Mhm.
And that's where I'm kind of the expert also right now.
So, Medicare insurance, meaning for those who are 42 years old and are not on Medicare
Yeah.
or nearing Medicare age. What is that?
Medicare is the insurance that the federal government set up. It's for people that are 65 and older,
Mhm.
or somebody that's been on a disability for 2 years. And after you've been on that disability for 2 years, they'll automatically let you into Medicare. So that's who the Medicare clients are.
So I don't have to be retirement age at 42 if I have a disability, and like I said, 2 years.
If you've registered with a disability, a Social Security disability income, and then after 24 months, on that 25th month, they will sign you up for Medicare.
Okay. So it's not just a retirement thing like most people probably.
Exactly.
Okay.
The majority is,
Okay.
of course.
And you've been doing this, like I said, almost 20 years since,
Yeah.
You said '08.
Yes.
How'd you get into it?
We had been living in Australia for 20 years, retired from work over there, came back, and I was just, my husband says he has a job, and he said I need to look for work too, and there was just interview process over there, somebody looking for work, and I got into insurance, not even knowing what I was doing, but just looking for work, and next thing you knew, you learned the business and you got in.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Living in Australia, how long were you in Australia?
20 years.
20 years. See, now, for those who may not know, I didn't just meet Connie, but I never knew that you lived in Australia.
Yeah.
So, that's really interesting. Really
Yeah.
interesting.
Raised our kids there. They graduated from high school there. My daughter graduated from university there and that too. So left a big part of our hearts there. So
Man, I don't mind traveling the world, but I've just heard of the bugs and the spiders and the snakes and everything else that will kill you.
you're missing out on a good place to go visit.
Okay.
Elvis.
All right.
You're missing out. So get over that and put that on your bucket list to
Okay.
go visit.
Okay.
And I'll tell you where you need to go.
Okay. Well, speaking of fears, jumping into a new industry in 2008, there had to be some fear in that. There had to be some trepidation kind of going around. What type of challenges did you see? And maybe not just in '08, but just throughout your years in business.
Yeah.
What type of challenges did you see and how did you overcome them?
Well, I walked in and I got hired by Helen. Helen did not want to hire me. And I really didn't know what selling was about, and I wasn't sure what insurance was about, but I thought I needed to get to know people, and I would do the 45 minutes and I wanted to sell them, and I thought they needed to like me, and I was playing all these games of trying to box them and get them in there. And needless to say, after a year, that company, they didn't ask me to leave, they just kind of didn't really keep me in there very long. So I left that after a year and went and stocked shelves at Macy's for a while and realized, thinking I'll never do that again.
Mhm.
Ended up back in Illinois taking care of my mother-in-law who had Alzheimer's. Every woman's dream in her mid-50s is to live in her mother's law, and I did everything for her that you would do for a brand new baby. So came back to this part of the world, met up with some of the guys that I'd worked with, and they said, come working with a different company, come try it again. So I walked in and tried it again, and there I realized that selling was about listening to people, finding out what they needed, and helping them get there. And I can do that, and so I learned the business. Probably Sue Bogazuski told me to come in and get it part of the chambers. So the chambers would have seen me. I've been in, I don't know how many years I've been in it. I need to look that up. But the chambers has seen me go from, I'm learning how to, not only the business, but how to be a salesperson from the beginning to where I am now. So they've seen me. So anybody that knows me for a while has seen me grow and seen my business grow.
And the the experience that you said, taking care of parents, it's within that sandwich generation. Well, at least that's what we call it in financial planning.
You got it.
You got
it.
Kids that you're taking care of, and either during or right after, then you got parents that you're taking care of, and you're just sandwiched in the middle.
Yeah.
And that can be tough, and even tougher if you're then starting a new career.
In November 7th and 8th, I got a few minutes to talk on a women's TV channel.
Okay.
And I'm going to talk about that a little bit.
So coming up in a couple
coming
more
up,
weeks.
coming up in a few weeks.
Okay.
And I'm going to talk about that as women. A lot of times we become the caregivers. This was for my mother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
But while I'm being the caregiver for my mother-in-law, I'm not making money. I'm not moving my business forward. I'm slowing down and doing that. And it's a good part of me that is loving and taking care of her.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good part of me, but it does affect my finances, and it does affect the family finances. And sometimes we don't know how to, like you said, we don't know how to plan for all that, whether you're in the sandwich generation or whether it's you yourself needing that kind of help in that. So I'm going to talk about that too, and important stuff. And I think you and I could enjoy just staying on that conversation for a while.
Yeah, there's both major topics there.
Yeah, that's a major topic. Yeah, and it's different for men and women a little bit. There's a little bit of a tweak on that, but it's real and something that's not planned and thought through by people, but needs to be.
Mm.
I think people falsely think somebody will take care of me. It'll be the government or something. There's some program out there to take care of me. Medicare doesn't do that.
Mm.
Medicare is for the acute medical needs. It's not for the chronic and the long-term care.
Mm-hmm. So expand on that a bit, because obviously that's your specialty. I don't deal with Medicare insurances is that the Medicare insurance as a whole? Is that that and the supplement plans? I mean, it just kind of expound. Give us a little mini seminar, if you will, on Medicare and Medicare insurances.
So when you first started working, I think I was a teenager when I first started working, you realize as you get your first paycheck, they took a little bit of taxes out of there.
It's shocked.
Yeah.
Where does my money go?
Oh,
why don't I have all my money?
Yeah. And then they took some taxes out, and they took a little Social Security out.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this thing, what is a Medicare? I don't even want Medicare. I don't know what a Medicare is, and I don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
So that gets taken out all the time that you were working for either you or your spouse. As that got taken out, then you get your Medicare card when you turn 65, and you have the Part A on there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you turn 65. That's all that little bit of money that they took out of all your paychecks all the time. So that is for the hospital, that Part A Medicare. That is for the remote control for the bed in the hospital and all the Jell-O you want to eat. That's what that is.
I like Jell-O.
That is not for the testing and the surgeries and the doctors and that happens in the hospital.
Mm.
That's the Part B.
Okay.
So as you get your Medicare card, there's also on there a Part B when you turn 65.
Okay.
That one you're paying for. This year I think we were paying $185 for Part B, which is taken out of your Social Security check.
Mm-hmm.
If you're getting a Social Security check, or else you send it in. Next year for 2026, it'll be $205, $206. I haven't heard the final number on that. So that is Part B. That is, and Medicare's, that's for the doctors and the hospitals and the surgeries, and that's for...
Is that like your regular checkup visits as well?
Yep, all
Okay.
that stuff is the Part B on there. Medicare pays the lion's share of that, which is 80%. So if you go to the doctor's office and the doctor says that's $100 and your share is $20, you say, fine, and you pay it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've been in the hospital for a while and you've had the surgeries and the testing and all that, and your bill is $100,000,
Right.
you're a financial guy, you can do well enough, 20% of $100,000 leaves you with a $20,000
Right.
bill. So that's not quite as much fun.
No.
So with that, people...
Not very many people are prepared for that.
No. Even the rich don't want that.
Right.
The rich, the poor, nobody wants that.
Right.
That's unneeded, unheard of, unwanted. So with that in mind, Medicare set up the supplements that began in 1965, and the supplements, then you buy a plan, the bill goes on to Medicare, and the supplements cover the rest of that.
Okay.
The supplements
They
are
cover
those.
your 20%.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, and the deductibles and all that. So, the supplements are, you maybe heard somebody say I have a plan F or I have a plan N or a plan G, and they have a drug plan to go with that. So usually they're paying
The
about
drug plan, you mean like for
a
prescriptions?
standalone drug plan.
So,
that
so
covers
when I gotta go get my prescription from whatever pharmacy I
Yep.
go to, that's what's covering that.
Yep,
Okay.
exactly. So the supplements, you purchase, Medicare pays their share, and then the supplement pays the rest. They're designed by Medicare, so whether you have a plan N with United or Humana or Aetna, it doesn't make any difference. They're all the same, because they were designed by Medicare.
Okay.
Those are good options.
Okay.
Those are good options. Other options are the Part C, are the Advantage plans.
Okay.
And those are the ones that we're really talking about this October 15th through December 7th. Those are the ones where you can change.
So
Those
that's the open enrollment season. That's what we're in right
It's
now.
actually called the annual enrollment.
Annual enrollment, excuse me. Yeah.
The open enrollment, and I get a little bit technical on this because then people know when I'm talking, I stay technical.
Yeah.
I stay technical. Annual election period, October 15th through December 7th. There's also an open enrollment period, January, February, March, where everybody can make a one-time change also.
Okay.
So those two, that's the technical terms on that. So the Advantage plans work really different. The Advantage plans, the company designs a plan, and they put in there all the things that are on Medicare, the doctors and the surgeries and the MRIs and the CAT scans, and they put all this stuff on there. They add the drug plan onto that. They add some gym memberships. You've heard of Silver Sneakers. They'll add some dental on there and some vision and some hearing and all those kinds of things. They get a plan. They take it to Centers for Medicare and Medicaid and say, what do you think of this? And if Centers for Medicare and Medicaid like it, it becomes a contract for that next year. So Aetna would have several contracts with United for their plans. United does, Humana does. And so for the clients, they're trying to figure out which of these plans, whether it's a supplement or the Advantage plan, that they fit in.
And that's when they need to come talk to you.
That's when they need to talk to me.
Figure it out and say, this
And
is what I want.
Yeah.
These are the things I care about.
Yeah.
And
This is my doctor. These are my prescriptions. This is what I use. This is what I don't use, and all those kinds of things.
Okay.
So, yep.
Okay. So really trying to keep it as close to what people have been used to for all their working life, and having a medical plan through their job. They worked at XYZ company for umpteen years, and they have their doctor that's their family doctor. They can keep that stuff going, and they can kind of pick pieces and kind of customize
Correct.
their plan. So nothing's cookie cutter.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And I tell everybody, it's, you have your own personal thumbprint, and your spouse has their own personal thumbprint. You don't have to be in the same different plans. Like when you were in the employer's plan, you both were all in this plan, and we have this.
So it's that customizable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
even
so-
married couples, doesn't matter.
I sold one yesterday. I was at home, sold the husband one, and sold the wife something different. Different needs.
Yeah.
Different needs, different
Okay.
that. So that fits that. This is the year of the perfect storm.
Okay. How so?
A year ago, there was actually, the decisions with Centers for Medicare, Medicaid, they make the rules, and then there's rules with the state of Washington that makes rules, and then the carriers themselves have rules. So of course, the Centers for Medicare, Medicaid rules trump everybody else, those
Okay.
rules.
And we would like to think they all talk to each other. I hope they do.
Not bad.
Not
Not bad.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a. Sometimes the system works.
Okay. Okay.
I hope the people that are listening there hear my humor. I forget where I was going to go with this.
With all the the Medicare
The
making
perfect
plans,
storm.
yeah.
The perfect storm. Okay. So a year ago, actually decisions that have been made years before that said that everybody's only going to have a $2,000 max out of their prescription drugs if their prescription drugs are in the formulary with the company that they're with. So that is a beautiful system, helped a part of the population. But all of a sudden, before that, as people were going into, they called it the donut hole, and they had the expensive drugs. Sometimes they were able to get help from the drug manufacturer. Sometimes they were able to get help from the low income subsidies, or they were able to get state help. So all that went away. So all those pressures now went onto the insurance companies.
Okay.
So a year ago, we saw the insurance companies and also Centers for Medicare and Medicaid start pulling back a little bit in the money that they were giving the insurance companies. They kind of did a moratorium on what they were giving to the insurance companies.
Mm-hmm.
So with that in mind, last year we saw insurance companies go away. You saw Pacific Source from here go away. You saw Premier go away. You saw companies like WellCare that was in some of the counties in the Outback, and Molina that was in some of those counties pull way in. You saw Aetna pulled way in. United, they all pulled way in, and sometimes they weren't putting plans out in the counties that they were in. And so I thought, oh, last year it was a big upset. So this year I thought, well, we've weathered that. We've gone through that. So this year is a little bit different. Centers for Medicare is still tightening their belts for some of the insurance companies.
Okay.
One of the ways that they've done that is they always give everybody a star rating. And the higher the star rating, the more money you get per person that's in your plan.
Mm-hmm.
So Centers for Medicare and Medicaid has lowered the star ratings pretty much across the board for everybody, and that was their way of pulling back in the money that they're giving to the plans.
Mm-hmm.
So the plans are a little bit tighter, things are a little bit tougher for some of the insurance companies.
Yeah.
They have to picking up all that. So I get a little bit frustrated. Sometimes people talk about those rich insurance companies. That talk saddens me a little bit because I really want my insurance company to be rich. If I'm going to be in the hospital for a week, I kind of want them to be able to write that check.
They need to be able to cover it. Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
I really do. So we can't be foolish. The conclusion of what's happened is, in the past there had been so much extra dental and extra this and over the counter and the buybacks, and there was so much of those benefits that were part of the plans. The plans aren't as rich now as they have been.
Mm.
They pulled back. So we'll see what happens with the system, but that's where it is right now.
Okay.
That's kind of nationwide.
Yeah.
That's kind of there. Can I keep talking?
Well, I was going to ask you about this book. So you
No,
brought
I
the
just
book.
I got one more thing
Okay,
that I want
go
to
ahead.
finish up a little bit. Pierce County and Thurston is a little bit unique. Multicare just in October put out a notice that anybody on a PPO plan would not be accepted in Multicare.
Oh.
There's more than a few people that go to Multicare.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the plans that I've sold in the last few years have been PPOs.
Mm.
And so a lot of people need to change or tweak their insurance to either go to an HMO or go to different carriers and that. So kind of a year that typically people, they say, I have Medicare, and they stay consistent. Right now, this year, more than any ever year, ever in the 20 years, almost 20 years that I've been there, you really do need to take a second look.
So with that change, would that be more so the people that don't make a change might not get to keep their doctor that they think they're going to have?
Exactly, exactly. Or else with your PPO, you're going to go to a the ambulance is going to take you to the multi-care hospital. They will accept you, but rather than having it a copay, you're going to have a co-insurance, and you're going to owe a lot bigger amount.
Mm.
So it is kind of a danger
Yeah, this
time.
not
this year.
not glaze over this and not just go
Exactly.
status quo, don't go robotic, or I know
Exactly.
how sometimes I need to go to the store first, but I'm driving home from work and my autopilot goes home.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
crap, I was
yeah.
supposed to go to the
Yeah,
store.
yeah.
We can't autopilot this year when it comes to Medicare.
Not this year.
Not this year.
Not this
Okay.
year. One more thing I'm going to say, and then I'm going to take a breath. There are 2 new companies that have come to town.
Mm-hmm.
I like competition.
Mhm.
I really do. I see there's benefit in more companies in there. One of the companies has come to town is Devoted, and another one is Scan, SCAN. Those have come to town. Very good options. So most people don't know about them because they're so new. Devoted has been here 1 year. Scan will start in January. So those are good options thrown in there. So people ought to take a look, and whether it's a fit for them or not, I'll tell you whether stay where you're at or go or whatever. But just wanted to kind of tickle your ear with that thought.
Yeah, so big year. Got to make sure we pay attention to Medicare changes.
Yes.
So tell me about this book.
I was invited this year to write a couple articles. It's the Mission Accepted 262 Women. What it is 262 entrepreneur women, and they wrote their legacy in here. It's kind of a coffee table book. It's kind of meant to read a story and put it down. I got to write in there. The one story is a personal story.
Okay.
For me, it was this year. I went back to my class reunion, my 50th class reunion, and the nostalgia of the 70s, the disbelief that I've turned the calendar that many years. I think, no. It doesn't. Yeah, you're laughing now.
Well,
It
no.
comes quicker than you know, friend.
I was talking to someone and they said, we're about to have our 25-year high school reunion. It's like, no, that's not.
That's
not
a lot
thing.
of calendars that you
Yes.
bought and put on the wall and
That's
take
not
it
a
off.
thing.
And yeah.
And then he just jabbed me a little further. He said, that's a quarter century. I said, oh, don't say it like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I thought 50th class reunions was for old people, but obviously not.
Right. Not at all. Not at all.
The other article that I wrote in there was a little bit more of a work, and I did 2 articles in there. And it was about my time going and taking care of my mother-in-law.
Okay.
What a privilege, what an honor, but also on another level, what a sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to do that because, like we were saying before, that's very real.
Mm-hmm.
And it very much does impact your life and the life of everybody else. It impacts your heart, it impacts your finances, it impacts your time. It's a big deal. So I just kind of wanted to let it be known that I had done that. So.
Yeah. So we got a couple things to look out for right now. Get the book, Mission Accomplished, or Accepted, excuse me, 262 Women. You'll be on TV here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, November 7th. And 8th, I think I'm on the 7th is the day that I'm on.
Okay.
It's a women's channel. And there again, I wanted to keep up the theme of women who are caregivers, thinking and planning for that and the time of your life that takes out. That long-term, the chronic care, and the chances of us getting there or the chances of somebody in our family getting there is big.
Yeah.
And how do you think about that? How do you plan for that? What are the options out there?
And no one wants to think about those things, and they never want to plan for those things.
I want to put my head in the
Oh my
sand.
gosh.
Who wants to think about that? Nobody.
When I'm sitting there trying to talk to people about it, hey, this is going to be a cost.
Yeah.
Most likely, percentages say, most likely, and if I'm sitting there with a husband and wife, and I say, let's act like my wife is here with me, 3 of us are going to need this care.
Yeah.
Percentage-wise.
Yeah.
So it's not like a far gone conclusion that we might need the care. No, it's just, what is it, 70 or 75%.
But I would be
population.
positive. I would be positive that you've heard them say, yeah, but I have my spouse and they'll take care of me. The part that they haven't thought about is as they get older and more feeble, their spouse gets older too.
Exactly.
And that doesn't mean their spouse can lift them out of bed.
There's only one pot of money. Unfortunately, money just becomes a huge part of that discussion because healthcare costs. Last I've seen, or I've been in the finance world for almost 10 years. Well, finance world for almost 20 years, but as a planner for almost 10 years, I haven't seen it go down.
No.
So it just keeps on going up.
Yeah.
So it just becomes a huge cost. So.
And it's really sad when the sick spouse takes up the finances for the healthy spouse, and this healthy spouse has to go on and live very like a pauper the rest of their lives. There's a sadness to that. So we're just kind of thinking, are there options through that and talking through that. So yeah, I knew that talking to you about that, you would appreciate the significance of that. So
yeah. But the care it still takes to be able to take care of somebody, like you wrote about here in the book. It takes an awful lot of heart and patience.
You don't realize it
to be
until
able to
you're
do
in
so.
the middle of it. And then you realize you're kind of on call 24/7. It's not and there's so many little pieces to it, even if it's just go to the pharmacy one more time and go to the store one more. And just the go, go, go. It's a lot of little pieces that,
Yeah.
it's big. But our hearts are made to love on each other and take care of each other. We just have to think through how do we protect ourselves financially and all those kinds of areas too.
Yeah. Well, 'tis the season to make sure that you get your Medicare questions answered. Supplement plans, they started back a few days ago.
Yeah.
And they end on what day again?
December 7th.
December 7th. So don't wait until December 6th to call her. Call her now. Get that time on the calendar, on the schedule. And then you said open enrollment January, February, March.
Correct.
As well for Medicare.
Yeah.
And I know we'll put the contact info somewhere in here.
Okay.
We'll get that contact info out there or of course you can always come by the Lakewood Chamber and get a contact info.
Perfect. Yeah, I do have cards out here.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And hopefully this won't be the last time.
Thank you.